Hello, my friend. It's a Crypto Lunatic, and today I bring you a little review of Nosana, the crypto in the background here. And we're going to discuss how I found it, what it's about. We're going to just look at it. Now, before we even start, I'm not invested in Nosana. I had no idea what it was until about 2 hours before doing this review. And today I've been playing with prompts. So those of you that follow my stuff, you'll know that I usually do this bot stacking prompt. Today, I've been working on Grok and I've built another prompt to assess cryptos. And my aim was to see if they align. So you are going to join me in a little experiment of testing out my new prompts to assess cryptos on this little journey into Nosana, my friends. Now, before we even begin, I'm not invested in Nosana. I'm not paid by Nosana. I have no skin in this game. The aim of this video is to give you tools of how to do your own basic level crypto research so that you don't get caught into the hype of coins and you're able to start to look at them for yourself and to make your own decisions. And that, my friends, is my aim. So with that in mind, join me on this little journey. So it started here, look, my crypto YouTube channel, and here, Frankenbridge 478 commented, Nosana could surprise. Now, because Frankenbridge, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, because there's a regular commenter on my channel, I thought, well, okay, just to let you guys know that I do interact with the content and the comments are important to me. I thought I'd look into it. So there you go. That's where it started. That's where the inspiration for this video came from. So the first thing we do, we go on to CoinMarketCap. We go back to the origin story here, which is January 2022, when this token floated at 23 cents. Now, what I like about tokens that are a few years old, it means a lot of the vesting is flushed out. And what does that actually mean? Well, usually when a token's floated, roughly, so I'm seeing a lot about around about the 20% of the tokens are out, which means there's a lot of scope for price dilution, which means that over time they can hype like this, they can go right up, and this one's been up to $6.40. And then as profits are taken and tokens are released, they go flat, 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 flat as people take profits. So here we are in a place now. It's not that dissimilar to the price when it first floated. So that is why projects like this can be interesting. But the question is there still momentum in it? Does this project still have a future? Is what we're asking ourselves. And what I like is that the total supply is 99.99 million and 71.43 million are already circulating, which means that over 71% of the tokens are out on the market, which makes it a bit better than most early stage projects. And we see a tiny little market cap, which means that we are almost, my friends, in the degen zone. So the upside potential on a project like this is potentially massive, but that depends on a lot of things, some of which we're going to be looking at today. So we look down, the first thing we see, it is not on Coinbase or Binance. So that can be looked at either two ways. The first one is, well, it doesn't have exposure to the two biggest exchanges. The other way of looking at it is if this gets momentum and gets listed on one of them, that's a nice little booster for it. But all of these are pretty big exchanges, so it does have a reasonable amount of ways that you can buy it, and look, multiple pages of places that you can get this. So it's been out. Let's have a look. We go down, we look at top holders. We see that the top 10 hold 43.59% of the supply. That's not great, but it's not terrible either. It's sort of mid-range, something that we'd sort of expect from tokens like this. So let's look at what is Nosana. Nosana is a blockchain-based open source cloud computing marketplace dedicated to AI inference. Our mission is simple: make GPU hardware accessible to all. The platform has two main goals: providing AI users with flexible GPU access and allowing GPU users to earn passive income by renting out their hardware all powered by the NOS token. So it's a rental space for GPU hardware, which means you can lend out the compute power of your computing system and get paid to do it. So, and for people that are building big projects, rather than buying all this hardware to accommodate it, you can just rent it out. So it's a bit like a computer rental business. So there we go. The first place we go is, well, not necessarily the first place, but the first place that we will go, we're going to look at the Explorer Soul Scan. So when we go on that, this tells us we go to holders. And that tells us we've already looked at that. It says 40 something, 43% in the top 10 wallets. You see that there's 2 whale holdings here of large percentages. So there's a lot of potential dumpage. But when the price is this low, then that's not such a factor at this price in the market. This is a very low price compared to where it has been. And what we can see is that this at one stage has been up to $6.38. So this is a massive discount compared to where it has been. Will it go back up there? Well, we don't quite know at this stage. Let's look at the social media following. So we see that there's 59.4K followers. Now, when I see something's followed by invest answers, that gets me to take it seriously, because this guy, as you know, I follow him and he is a serious investor. And if he's following this, then there's probably good reason for it. So instantly that gives me confidence in a project. Now, he may just have forgotten to unfollow it since he followed it. It may be on the down. I mean, this is pinned from December the 16th, 2025. But when we go here, we see posts here from yesterday. 300 plus builders. Oh, this is for AI builders. So it's reposting stuff. We've seen a little bit of engagement there. So this account is fairly active, 78 there for a post that was posted 3 days ago. Nosana is teaming up with HackerMoon, a leading ecosystem partners on a new builder-focused initiative. The goal to bring together AI compute and ecosystem collaboration in a way that's actually useful for the people building with these tools. So it is active. Stuff is going on. You can see here they've been having hackathons. They're in Belgrade for the Solana startup competition, a 2-week cohort, blah, blah, blah. So it's an active social media following. Next thing, we go to the website. Now, the website, nothing special. Instant GPU rental for scale for AI and high performance workloads. So here's the website. Now, it looks nothing special. It's we've got a network overview here. So 34 million in market cap of NOS. Now, this is interesting, is this update, because we looked on coin market cap and it tells us 20 million. So either coin market cap or the website is off, my friends, which is why it's important to check things from multiple different sources. So are we going to take these stats too seriously? Current price 34. Let's look and see. Yes. So it's out of sync. The website data is out of sync with coin market cap. So one of them's wrong. I would say it's probably their website. But anyway, I could be wrong. So instantly there's a discrepancy. There's a glitch in the matrix, my friends. The website is not syncing with CoinMarketCap. So it tells me that one of these two areas is out of sync, my friends. It's out of sync. So there we have it. Next thing, we go to Crypto Rank and we see we have a little look down here. Now, this says that the market cap is 28 million, which is right in between the two prices. So see how massively varied the stats are on different sources at the moment. So this is anywhere from a 20 to a 34 million market cap project based on 3 different sources already, including its own website. And this is why in crypto, you have to go and get a bigger picture. Because also this is saying that, look, 100 million is circulating, which is simply, is it true? Well, we don't know. I mean, because on CoinMarketCap, it says it's 71%. So straight away, we're getting misinformation. We're getting mixed information about Nosana. And this is actually good for this review because it tells you the importance of seeking multiple different sources when you're doing your research, and never just to fully trust one place or one size fits all, to check it from different angles. So here's the critical statistic. So the IEO, this was one of the launches, tells you that there's a 2.82x, that the IEO price was 0.1. So it tells you that they have made profit, but unlike a lot of cryptos, it's not that great considering they've been in since 2022. So this is sufficiently price suppressed for it to be interesting. But the question is, are people using it? So we go to the next stage of the analysis. Now, this is my bot stacker. So, my friends, for those of you that follow me, you'll know that I've got an account on this thing called Boodle, which allows me to stack crypto bots. Now, each of the different bots has different strengths and weaknesses, which is why I check them through multiple different levels. And there's a lot of information that comes out. So really, the initial assessment we will look at. So I have what's a hell no filter. Now, this is a very brief prompt that I put in just to assess, is this worth looking into? Are there any critical flags? And there is none. So it passes the initial assessment. So it says, Nosana passes the initial filter. While the project is technically sound and active, the broader Solana ecosystem is currently experiencing significant security turbulence, e.g. the 285 million drift protocol exploit in April 2026. This macro risk requires a more disciplined approach to phase 2. So a bit of leakage going on in Solana at the moment. So these are things that we need to be aware of. But there's been no major hacks reported for Nosana protocol. Liquidity good, tokenomics good. Be interesting to see what it says here. Approximately 48 to 71% of the supply is currently in circulation. Well, again, that's old information because it looks to be at least 71%. So again, different angles, we're getting different information at. Team infrastructure verification pass, that looks good. Pass. So we go to phase 2. Now, phase 2 is done on Claude, and Claude had a cutoff point. So again, we have to take a lot of this with a pinch of salt when we go through it. But let's look at the executive summary. Nosana is a decentralized GPU compute network built on Solana that enables users to monetize idle hardware by providing AI inference and CI/CD compute power. So there you have it. Look, you can read through all of this if you want. We can see that the team are apparent, and they're giving you various aspects of the actual coin itself there. Now, I'm going to whiz through this because I want to focus on my Grok output. The only reason I've got this up is I wanted to compare what I already do, which is a lot of information, with a lot shorter version on Grok, which we're playing with. So I'm going to go through this. If you want to pause the screen and get a much more detailed input into some of the things that are going on here, by all means, pause the video and have a look at these things. But really what I want to take you through to is the percentages, where it analyzes what percentages each area gets and an overall percentage, which is effectively the thing that we're going to be comparing today. So again, it says that the tokenomics circulating supply, there's definitely an information gap there, because we're getting all sorts of variance on that. But one thing's for certain, when I look at a project and I see 2022, you can be sure that a lot of the tokens are going to be out on the market now. So this is considerably less risk than one of the early launch projects now, with 20% of the supply out. And I seem to be reviewing quite a few of them lately with all of this. So here we go. Now, I see a lot of the things are estimated on this, so I'm not going to pay too much close attention to them. We see red flags, none. That's a critical bit of information. Again, not much. There seems to be a few gaps in this, which is why I'm not going to focus much on it. We're going to go straight through to this, the master scoring matrix. So team quality gets 74, tokenomics. Well, I would say it's probably higher than that, because it seems to be giving it unfavorable tokenomics at the moment. Market position, 70%. On-chain health, 45%. I would say that this information is possibly out of date on here, so that's maybe a little bit harsh. Technology, 85. Market timing, 90. Overall score, 65, almost 66. So there you have it. Now it's got a bit of stuff here. We go to a phase 3, double check, and that's where we get Perplexity to pretty much assess what Claude has put in. So you can read through these if you want. We'll go to phase 3. Lots of information here, the phase 3, and what this effectively does is double check the score, and you'll see that's fairly close, reasonably close. That's giving it 70%. Still with an unfavorable tokenomics, but giving it a much higher on-chain health. Now, bear in mind, Perplexity has access to more recent data, so I'm more inclined to believe the Perplexity score than the rest. But anyway, that's enough for that, because Grok is my new tool that I've been playing with. I've spent a few hours creating a prompt on Grok to assess these things. So you are here to experience this with me. This is the first run out of my new prompt on Grok. Nosana is a decentralized GPU rental market. You know all this. I'm not going to reread it to you. You've got pretty much all of that. So it's riding the AI narrative with real usage. Thousands of active stakers, live workloads from projects like Sogni AI, and measurable network activity. So it's being used. This is always a good thing. It's been built and it's being used. This is a good thing. Let's go in the score assessment here. Verifiable data. Now, when I've written this prompt, I've gone to great lengths to say no hallucinations, no making up data. So whether that is actually real, whether it's done that, well, don't know. But I've really emphasized we only want stuff that we can measure on this. So let's have a look. The problem and utility. So that gets us 75. There's a real demand for affordable AI compute. Network shows that live GPU availability, hundreds of consumers' GPUs listed, case studies with real users and metrics like 4 million plus value secured and 14K active stakers. So the on-chain activity is present but modest compared to DPINs, or that's decentralized physical infrastructure networks for people new to the game. Traction beyond hype, measurable, not just white paper. So this is like people are using it. This is good. Team and transparency, 70%, founded by Jesse Isis, publicly associated, Amsterdam-based since 2021. Team has the Faces of Nosana section showing some visibility. Track record in decentralized compute is verifiable via GitHub and Docs. So there we go. Tokenomics 65 now. Be interested to know what they're basing that on, based on the wildly different readings that we're getting here. But the total supply is 100 million. They're saying circulating 83 million. So that's the highest figure yet. Now, Grok is probably more up to date with getting up-to-date data than the rest of them. So I'm more inclined to lean towards this, which gives it a much more favorable tokenomics score. Community and sentiment, well, X is perfectly positioned to assess that. So 60% is what it says. Recent chatter shows steady updates and staking interest, but volume is moderate, mix of organic and promo, quality over raw numbers. Real builder engagement visible, yet no viral hype level. So it's not being hyped. So everything that's achieved has been based on actual traction, not hype. It's another good thing at this stage in the game. Technology and security, 80%. So there we go. That's always reassuring. Market and competition, 55%. So this is a competitor to Render and a cache. So there we have it. And risks and red flags, 60%. So centralization in GPU supply, consumer hardware volatile, competition intensity, token unlock pressure. Well, that's going to be less now if there really is 83% of the tokens out, and the broader AI DPIN execution risks. There's no exit scam signals, legitimate product, regulatory uncertainty for compute networks, minor but present. So the overall Lunar score is 68, which is incredible. That's just 2% different from the overall score that I got with my other tool. So this seems to be fairly aligned and a lot more succinct than my other methodology of getting you stuff. So there you go, my friends. It's just given me a few recommendations for content there. But what we've got here is a project that is established. It has had most of the tokens have been released, so the potential for dumpage moving forward is a lot lower. Now, we still have up to 17% of those tokens to come out, but they're not very profitable at the moment with this current price. So given the risk reward, this looks like a fairly interesting opening. But that's what my assessment says. What do you think? So if you're using Nosana, by all means, drop comments, educate us as to the bigger picture of the stuff that we don't see, which my community has been pretty good at helping me to understand these projects better, because I can transparently tell you that up until 2 hours ago, I knew nothing about Nosana. Everything is based on me just deciding to do a little bit of research and show you how I do my research. So there you go, my friends. That is Nosana. Let me know what you think. If you've enjoyed this content, then please do like, subscribe to the channel. Do a little guy a favor. And if you want more content from me, you'll find it just there. But either way, stay lunatic, have fun, and make money with crypto.